Welcome to Flawless Shoe Reviews. Today I'm going to talk you through the best 5 shoes for walking and standing all day. And as a foot and ankle specialist who's reviewed thousands of shoes, I'm going to break down the features of these shoes in simple terms so you have a better idea of which one will work best for you. So first of all, we're going to look at a stability shoe, and that's the Asics Gel-Kayano 32. So this is an excellent shoe if you need a shoe that has some support underneath the arch of your foot. So it's got a built-in 4D guidance system, so you've got this arch that sits in the medial aspect of the foot that comes up and gives extra support for those of you who struggle with pronation control. It's also got a really broad base of support. It's got some sole flare, and that's where the sole comes out wider than where your foot sits in the shoe to try and provide extra stability. And it's got some sidewalls on the inside and the outer side of the shoe. These come up, help to create your ankle, provide extra control when you initiate contact with the ground. It's got quite a soft cushioning, so when you initiate contact with the ground you sink into it somewhat before you push back out again. So if you're looking for a cloud type feel shoe where you initiate contact and it's nice and soft, nice and comfortable with some arch support, then the Kayano 32 is an excellent option. And as we move on top of the shoe, we've got plenty of space in the toe box, so relatively spacious in a normal version, and it does come in a wide as well. It's a true to size and length, and it's got a plush upper, so a little bit thicker than some of the other shoes that we'll talk about, but it's nice and comfortable, wraps around your foot nicely, and it's got some mild thickness on the tongue that's gusseted. It's got loads of padding around the heel counter, but it's really stiff on the heel counter. Now a stiff heel counter helps to add elements of stability to your ankle. However, those of you with sensitivity at the back of the heel, you may not enjoy it. It's reduced the heel drop compared to the last version, so it's got an 8mm drop, which will probably suit the majority of the population rather than the higher drop that we saw in the previous Kayano versions. So this is an excellent option if you stand and walk all day and you want a stability shoe and you like to have some support underneath the arch of your foot. Then as we move on, we've got a contrasting shoe in the New Balance More V5. So this is an action-packed shoe in terms of the amount of cushioning that you have underneath your foot. So if you're looking for a really soft, really plush, really comfortable shoe with the maximum amount of padding possible underneath your foot, look no further than the New Balance More V5. Now the price that you pay for that is that it's a little bit heavier and the heaviest of all 5 shoes that we're going to talk to you about today. However, the comfort underneath your foot is unbeatable in this shoe. So if you like a shoe that's really soft underfoot, that has some elements of stability, this is an excellent option. So it has some sidewalls on the inside and the outside as well, like we saw in the Kayano, but they don't come up as high or provide as much support. It's got a really broad base of support to it as well, and it's got some mild sole flare. It's got a relatively low heel drop at 4mm, so that gives a nice even distribution of force across your foot, so that's half of the drop that we saw in the Kayano 32. So if you got any issues around the forefoot, ball of your foot, this is an excellent option as it provides lots of padding. It's really stiff as well, so those of you who have pain when they push off, this can help with that, especially in the big toe joint. On top of the shoe, we've got plenty of space in the toe box. It comes in a wide version as well. Got loads of padding around the tongue, not as much padding around the heel counter, and you've got a lot more flexibility in that heel counter than what we see in the Kayano 32. So this is probably one of your better options if you just stand all day due to the low drop and the amount of cushioning underfoot. However, if you're someone who struggles with a lower drop shoe, you may not enjoy this. Then, as we move into even more low drop shoe, we have the Altra Via Olympus 2. Now this is a zero drop shoe, so it's got no difference in the heel from the back to the front of the shoe in terms of the height. As a result, it fits in with most of those minimal type shoes, but it's got cushioning under your foot. So it's zero drop with max cushioning, so it's quite unique to the market. Now its cushioning is completely different than the other 2 shoes, so it's a relatively firm cushioning. So when you initiate contact with the ground, you don't sink into it as much. It's a bit more responsive. So if you're a quicker walker or you like to have a quicker turnover of speed, then the Via Olympus 2 can be an excellent option for you. On top of the shoe, it has an anatomical toe box, which again is different than the other 2 shoes. So it's much wider, allows your toes to splay, so it's got plenty of space in there as well as in the midfoot and in the heel. So it's wide throughout the shoe, but especially wide in the forefoot. It's a true to size and length, and we've got plenty of padding around the tongue that's non-gusseted, and we've got less padding in the heel cup than we see in the other 2 shoes. But it's super flexible in the heel cup, so those of you with sensitivity around the back of the heel, you'll really enjoy this. Who is this shoe for? Well, if you're used to wearing a zero drop shoe, then this is an excellent option if you want extra cushioning, extra padding underneath your foot, or when you're spending long periods of time on your feet. However, if you haven't used a zero drop shoe before, a word of caution to transition slowly when moving into this, as it can cause some problems if you move too quickly, like overloading your Achilles tendon. However, if you got pain in the ball of your foot and want a stiff shoe with minimal drop, well then this is one of the best shoes on the market and it's hard to beat. Then when we talk about anatomical fit on top of the shoe, the Topo Atmos comes into play. So it has a 5mm difference from the back to the front of the shoe. It's the lightest of all 5 shoes. It's got an anatomical fit on top of the shoe in the toe box. However, it's a more snug fit on the midfoot and the heel, in contrast to the Altra, which is wide throughout the shoe. So for those of you who have quite a narrow foot generally, but then it broadens out in the forefoot, and we see that especially in people who have bunions, as it becomes slightly wider in the forefoot, or those of you with conditions in the forefoot, but they don't want that width throughout the shoe so the foot's not swinging about inside the shoe. This is an excellent option. In our opinion, Topo have the best fit on the market if you want to look at some more of our reviews on the channel. So then as we move down the shoe, we've got the zip foam cushioning. So it's a little bit softer than what we see in the Altra, so it's more of a balanced cushioning. So it sits somewhere between the cushioning in the Altra and the Gel-Kayano 32. So not too soft, but not too firm either. So it's an excellent option if you're looking for a balanced shoe with a 5mm drop and a wide toe box. It's got a relatively light engineered mesh on top and probably the most breathable of all 5 options that we have. It's got an excellent lockdown and it's got some stiffness around the heel cup to provide some stability to your ankle. So an excellent job by Topo. If you're looking for a wide toe box but you've got a narrow foot overall, this can be a great fit for you. Then finally we've got the Ibreak Glycerin Max. So they've completely overhauled the midsole in the Glycerin to provide us with the Glycerin Max. So it's a relatively light shoe despite having loads of cushioning underneath your foot, and despite how it looks, it's actually quite balanced and quite responsive. So it looks like it has a similar amount of cushioning to what we see in the More V5, however you don't sink into it as much. It's much more responsive, you can turn over a lot quicker, and it's got a really aggressive forefoot rocker to really help with the push-off phase of the gait cycle. It has a 6mm drop, so a little bit higher than what we see in the Topo, and definitely more than what we see in the Altra. It still gives a nice even distribution of pressure across your foot and helps to offload the forefoot by having that nice forefoot rocker and lots of padding and stiffness in the forefoot. It's true to size and length, and it's also got a normal width. It doesn't have a wide option on the market at the moment, which is probably one of the main downsides of this shoe. It comes in a nice plush upper and it's got a nice padded tongue on top that's non-gusseted. Got plenty of padding around the heel counter that's moderately stiff to provide some extra elements of stability, and it's got a nice sidewall on the inside and the outside of the shoe alongside a really broad base of support. One of the other important things to mention on this shoe is it's got incredible durability. So if you're looking for a shoe with lots of cushioning that doesn't get too flat over time, that doesn't wear out too much on the outsole because of the amount of time that you spend on your feet, then the Glycerin Max is an excellent option. So overall we've got 5 contrasting shoes. We've got the Altra with a zero drop that provides a firm cushioning underneath your foot and an anatomical toe box. We've got the Topo that's got a slightly higher drop, it's got more balanced cushioning, you sink into it a little bit more, it's a bit more responsive. It's got the anatomical toe box, but it's also got a better fit on the midfoot and the heel. Then we've got the More V5, which is just all about cushioning underneath your foot with a 4mm drop, nice even distribution of pressure across your foot if you're looking to get a shoe for standing for long periods of time. Then we've got the Kayano 32, which is more of a moderate to max stability shoe, got some arch support in there. And then finally we've got the Glycerin Max, which is a bit of an all-rounder, provides some stability despite having lots of cushioning on it. So if you're looking for a more stable neutral shoe but you want the same amount of cushion than you see in the More V5, then the Glycerin Max is an excellent option. If you've got any questions on all 5 shoes, drop them in the comment section below. We've got links to all 5 shoes in the description if you want to check out the latest prices, and buying through the links does help fund our channel without affecting the price that you pay. We've got individual reviews on all these shoes if you want a bit more detail on them, or we've got comparisons to very similar shoes, or we've got individual reviews comparing the Glycerin Max versus the More V5 for instance. Otherwise, if you found the video helpful, like and share and subscribing does make a massive difference to us, and thank you very much for watching.